Welcome back, vinyl community. This is Alexander from Wax and Wine. Today I went to go over quite a few records that I found, about 5, between a trip that I took to Michigan, to the suburbs of Detroit, and a few local and an eBay purchase. Let's get started with the first 1996 original pressing from a very, very cool lo-fi band, Neutral Milk Hotel. Found this locally. This was priced incorrectly. It was just dirt cheap. It was as if the people hadn't done any research. An original on Merge Records. This is Jeff Mangum, and this is kind of preamble to the recording Over My Shoulder right there. Fun fact, that's an original. We're going to talk about that in the following video. On Avery Island, very, very cool record. There is a lot going on there. We're kind of getting acclimated to Jeff Mangum's style, to this lo-fi project. Really, really beautiful vocals, very, very cool subject matter. When we're talking, we're kind of writing a story, and we kind of revisit. So there's these elements and themes that kind of keep reappearing as we go through the music. He is joined by his childhood friend, Robert Schneider, out of, I believe he's from Georgia, but Neutral Milk Hotel is from Louisiana, and they start in 1989, and then they go to 1998. Super, super, super cool band. The record Over My Shoulder is the one that kind of is most known by people, but On Avery Island is definitely worth checking out. They also have a gentleman named Rick Benjamin doing trombone on there, but between Robert Schneider and Jeff Mangum, they're playing lots of instruments in lo-fi glory. They have tape recorders, they have organ, you have xylophone and other kinds of fun sounds coming out, so it's a little cacophonous at times, but otherwise just very, very cool music. I don't want to say it's overshadowed by In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, but it kind of is, but you can really see where the direction is going. So it's just very cool. I was very happy to have it, and obviously for $10, that is a steal. So on to the next. So the second album that I'm going to show you guys is the first I have on vinyl from the artist. I have a CD from them. I will tell you what that CD is shortly so as to not give it away. I found this at my favorite record store in LA. Apologies rather to all the other record stores out there. I was told I should name names. So Atomic Records, you are my number one in LA as of right now. But normally I head in there for jazz, and I saw this, and for $15, I could not pass it up. This is the Peel Sessions by New Order. So what is this? This is a 12-inch. This is 4 songs at 45. It's super cool. So what I learned, because I was not as familiar with this recording, even though this was released in 1987 on Strange Fruit Records out of the UK, this is all coming from the Movement album, their first album from 1981. It's so cool. So the A-side, pretty good. Then you get to the B-side, and that Dream Never Ends. Oh, man. That is a jam of a song. So fell in love with it, played it over and over. I have kind of that obsessive vibe when I listen to music. If I find a song that I really can't get enough of, I can really keep going over and over. So that's what I did. So I have Power, Corruption, and Lies, their second album on CD. I've played that occasionally recently, but after finding this recording, I definitely have been sparked to start looking for New Order albums out there. Just as long as the material's clean, I don't really need to get a UK pressing versus an American pressing. I'm not all in like most. Manchester group, for those who might not know, formed from Joy Division after Ian Curtis took his own life. They decided to form the following year, so I believe that was 1979. In 1980, they form. In 1981, they released Movement. Again, Manchester, UK. They're hugely popular in their area. In 1983, they released the song Blue Monday, and that's a very, very big hit for them, and then they just keep it going. So really incredible band, and unfortunately now I have been bit by the bug. I would like to catch more of those recordings. So happy to have it. If you're not familiar, A Dream Never Ends, Gotta listen to it. All right, on to the next. So I mentioned Detroit earlier. I was in the burbs visiting my girlfriend's family out in Royal Oak. There is an awesome record store called UHF. I also went to People's Records in Detroit, just as special as it was made out to be. Very, very cool. Didn't really find anything, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. But if you're there out in Detroit, I'm sure you guys know more record stores than I do, but between People's and UHF, both of those were terrific. At the UHF in Royal Oak, I found a duo of records from the United Artists label. Actually, there were a few more in the bins. All clean, original monos, probably VG Plus clean. And I found a couple recordings that I don't really see around, and the next one is kind of even more special. But I'll start with Randy Weston's music here. Little Niles, named after his daughter. This was released in 1959. This is an original mono recording. This features great George Joyner on bass. We have Idris Suleiman and Ray Copeland taking turns on the trumpet, and I have Johnny Griffin on the tenor sax. What do I have? I have Melba Liston on the trombone. So I'll be honest, it's kind of a crunchy affair. There's a lot of texture going on musically. This isn't my favorite Randy Weston work by any means, but knowing that it's named after his daughters and reading the liner notes written by Langston Hughes, the very famous poet, my two favorite songs are named after his children. So you have Pam's Waltz and 3/4 Time, and then you have Little Niles after his daughter, his youngest daughter, and that's on the A side, track 4. Both of those are very good. That one feels modal, right? Very cool, fun theme. Both are really enjoyable. There's moments there in the music that are a little less trying for me, but more I'm kind of a fan of straight ahead hard bop from this guy. So it's cool to see this artistic flair, but I think what's even cooler is that it's really the two songs named for his children that are the most beautiful. So with that said, I would give them a listen. Again, Pam's Waltz, which is on the B side, on the A side, Little Niles, or what the record was named after. Randy Weston was born in Brooklyn. He served in the military in World War II and went to Asia, got inspiration there for making some of his recordings. Really, really cool story on that pianist. Not one of the most celebrated by any means, but definitely I'm all in on piano jazz, like guitar jazz. And he's a great player. You would find this session later re-released as a compilation under the Blue Note series. You'll see those kind of transition labels. I don't know what they're called, but it's like they look very or distinct from the rest of the Blue Note catalog. But cool nonetheless, and I was very happy to have it. I got it for right at around $30. So again, Little Niles, kind of a rarer one for me from the United Artists label. And I do love that cover art. It's a very sweet photograph. So cheers. The second album I want to talk about is the not more special, but definitely the rarer of the two United Artists recordings. But while I do so, let's talk about the pop I'm drinking to keep it quite Michigan, except that it's from Bristol, Rhode Island. It's Empire Bottle Works. This is their real cola, and it's fantastic. So, with that said, I don't know if my placement's good. Yeah, well, I can't even see it anyway. Like I said, the next one, the Curtis Fuller Sextet. Super awesome album. This has a very, very killer lineup. So this is called Slidin' Easy. I apologize for that glare. There we go. I think that's better. We have Lee Morgan on the trumpet. You have Hank Mobley on the tenor sax, Elvin Jones playing the drums, and we got Tommy Flanagan tickling the ivory, and Paul Chambers, very, very tall Paul Chambers playing the bass, and he even brings the bow in a track. Very, very cool. The A-side features a song called Down Home, written by Curtis Fuller. I would say that is a great song to start, at least for me. Very, very easy, very almost celebratory in nature. Feels like I'm in New Orleans. It feels like a Dr. John is about to get played for me. There's something very up and bright about it. When I flip to the B side, we have the Charlie Parker tune. What is that one called? Bongo Bop. That is another beautiful track. The way it ends too with the Jimmy Heath tune, the CTA, that we speed up the tempo, and it's kind of a nice way to send us off as the listener. I will say that Randy Weston artwork from United Artists was way better. This leaves me wanting a little bit in this department. It kind of reminds me of the Brass Shout, that kind of vibe, another United Artist album. But what it lacks in artistic direction, it makes up for in wonderful material. So I would say this is not to be missed. This is kind of the heat of the bunch. To go over what I will be presenting next time, just to give you a little heads up, like I mentioned earlier, up above my shoulder, that is an original Neutral Milk Hotel recording, their magnum opus, really, really beautiful stuff. Found that at an insane flea market find. We can go over all of those. And then I also had just an epic score at a Goodwill in Los Angeles, and would love to recount that for those who like to do some treasure hunting. But now on to the wine. I want to share something a little bit more seasonal for you. All right. Okay, so it's summertime. Baseball's in full swing. We got other sports going on. The weather's heating up. Not in Southern California, curiously, but that's okay. I'm honestly okay with it. I love that overcast as long as we can. I believe we're going to have an Indian summer, and it's going to be brutally hot, and we're all going to be crying mercilessly for cooler weather. But either way, as a seasonal drinker, I do tend to embrace rosé at this time. And so that will be the wine for the day. Again, I'm going to show you a wine. It's not necessarily this wine, but we're just going to talk about rosé in general. Just try to wet the whistle, if you will. So this is one of my favorite producers. There we go. Now we're in focus. That says Van Gris, which is another way to kind of refer to a rosé. It does have a specific historical meaning, but let's keep it general. Let's keep it broad. So that was from a producer called Preston out of Northern California. This is a producer I sell in the state of California. It's a certified organic farm, yada, yada. They're amazing. Really delicious wines. Okay, but what is rosé? Rosé is a red wine made like a white wine. In some of these hotter areas that get blisteringly warm, and all they make are red grapes, people don't want to drink red wine all the time. So what they want to do is they want to chill down their reds. Sure, they can do that. Or they can make a red wine that's served like a white wine. And how do you do that? You limit the skin contact. So that we're going to keep in reference, skin contact, for the next video. I'm sure some of you wine savants already know what I'm talking about with skin contact. But a rosé, again, we're going to restate the definition. A red wine made like a white wine. We're limiting the skin contact of the red grapes with our pressing and giving it just this slight pinkish color. Rosés are fantastic. Great with seafood, great with cheese, great with meats. They work with a gamut of flavors and foods. Because they're chilled, they kind of have their own special effects. They're fantastic to drink on their own. One of the legendary areas is Provence in the south of France. It's an area I'm sure you have some friends or relatives or family that have been, or you yourself have been. It's a pretty cool area to go. But I find kind of all over the world has embraced rosé, and there are plenty of good examples. So you can get beautiful domestic examples. This one in front of you or in front of me is a blend of Mourvedre and Cinsault, so kind of more of a tip of the cap to the traditional grapes. I think very frequently you would find Grenache, Carignan, Mourvedre, Cinsault. These are grapes that are, play out in the Provençal area. But you can have wonderful rosés of Pinot Noir. You can have rosés of just about any grape. I see some famous California producers playing around with Zinfandel, making a joke on kind of one of the wines that I used to see a lot in my household, which was white Zinfandel. So a little twist on that. But there's a lot of really, really cool expressions of rosé. So you can get a great bottle for $10, and I would say a superb bottle for about 20 to 30, in that range. You don't have to buy anything too crazy. They can be dry, crisp, what to expect, a little cherry, definitely some red fruits, some strawberry. The best examples to me have a little bit of this peach or apricot character, so they kind of embody summer in terms of the beverage. So the next time you're out there, go ahead and look for a rosé. This Van Gris that I'm holding in my hand is a great choice, but you can do anyway. It's a choose your own adventure, and I do encourage you to find a rosé that works for you. And like I said, write them in the comments. Let me know what you're drinking, and we can talk about it. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon, and remember skin contact, because we'll revisit that next time. So keep them sipping and keep them spinning. Again, thank you, Mr. Riley, for giving me that. We'll talk to you soon.